Well, it's been a minute. PVC Podcast Crew. We back at it. Sorry that it took us a little bit of time to get y'all some content. We had to kind of move and slide through a few different things and situations. But we weren't going to leave y'all too long without getting some content up. You know this is how we do. But like always, before we get through all the stuff we want to get the chance to talk about today, we got to go through all the pleasantries, of course. It's always an honor to have my boys in the building, as y'all well know. But like always, like we like to do at this time, Paul.
I thought y'all had this up in the sky. I was like, I'm like, what did you just say? It just clicked in.
Like we like to do it this time. I go for mine. I got this. Blow your hands up. Shout out to T-Pain and all them boys. Paul, say what's up to the people, family.
You threw me off guard there. What's up, people? We right back at it again. Sorry, we was out for a minute. We had a lot of stuff transparent and stuff like that. But like always, it's always a pleasure and an honor to be back at the table sitting right here with my brothers and stuff. But other than that, it's another beautiful day. So say what's up to the people, Dave.
Oh, good morning, everyone. It's good to be back here sitting with Paul and Cameron, the P and the C of the PVC Podcast Crew. Today we're coming at you with a new episode. It's been too long for us, but we've been going through some stuff lately that were preventing us from recording. Thankfully, though, we are allowed to record this week as our times are able to line up together. We do hope you enjoy the content we bring before you. We do hope that you find value in this, for your time is precious, as is ours. So we hope that there is entertainment, that there is learning. But despite all that, if you like the video, please make sure to like the video. But more importantly, if you don't like it, you still like it.
Yep. Because what's the phrase? You don't have to
like the video to like the video.
Yeah.
Besides, your opinion, while valued, doesn't determine if you push this button. Please just press the like button. It'll be greatly appreciated. And always comment down below whether you have something nice to say, something off to say, or something cool to say. Please just say it. The algorithm loves attention, and we do too. So ultimately, we do hope that you enjoy this episode of the PVC Podcast Crew. Before we continue, I must pass over this voice to Cameron, talk to the people.
Hey, it's about that time, huh? Cam, a.k.a. Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky.
Follow me on the gram and all that good stuff. Dog, it's been a minute since I actually heard that, man. I almost miss it. Hey, wait a minute.
Sound like you still get an award.
You got clear stuff.
Never. I know. I had to. I had to get it together. Dogs, you know, it's a privilege and an honor to do this, of course. Before we go too far into the conversation, shout out to all of our affiliates, of course. Shout out to World Heat Entertainment. Shout out to Dirty Joe. We got projects, of course, up and on the way. Keep in mind, if y'all, we still filming Hilltop Brawl Part 3. That's going to be a little bit down the line. We're working on that, of course. So be on the lookout if you haven't had a chance to see Part 1 and Part 2. Definitely check out that, of course. If you haven't seen our landing page on IMDb, you can actually check that out as well. You got your bad Paul up in there, you know, I'm on there. We're going to get Vic on there somewhere down the line. It's part of that process as well. So we got a lot of things cooking. But let's start here. We were talking about, I did a music reference, but let's start with some music stuff today to kind of break the ice. So, what's the one song, as soon as the song comes on,
You got a boogie?
You got a boogie. Yeah, it'll be like, that's my song. What would you consider to be the best intro in music?
Oh, intro for what?
The intro to the music, like the first 8 measures of the very beginning of the song. What would you consider one of the best intros in music? I'll give you one just to give you an example. Most people would say Nothing But a G Thing. Boom, 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 boom. That intro. Well, as soon as you hear it, you already know. Exactly. As soon as you hear it,
okay.
what we consider one of the best intros in music?
So I would say for me, one of the more, I won't go as far as say the best, but at least memorable, or at least attention grabbing, is probably Power by Kanye West.
I like it. First of all,
because it's very unique, And once you've heard it, if you've heard it once, you'll hear it. You'll recognize it anytime you hear it after.
I kind of like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that intro is very, very good. It will definitely get you hyped up. I actually like that. That's actually a good call. I like that.
No
I like
one man should have all of that.
that.
Hey.
I like that. That's a good. That's a goodie. That's a goodie. I like that. One of the better intros.
I'm gonna take it a little bit back. For me, I will have to say if I have a partake of best intro, it'll have to be from the Fugees, Ready or Not with Lauryn Hill.
Actually, that's underrated. So, ready or not, here I come. Yeah, that's kind of dope too. That's underrated. Yeah, I like that. That's actually not bad.
I mean, you never, cause see, even within like in the UFC or or outside the Indies, you really don't hear anybody using. I would use the Fugees as an intro.
That would
Cause
be
it's a couple of songs, I will come
No,
out.
that's a goodie. That's a goodie. I'll give it. No, I like Ready or Not as an intro.
Okay,
I like
well,
Ready or
Ready or Not,
Not.
that's me.
I like
That's me.
Ready or Not intros better.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because you don't even have to have even the lyrics. You can just use just the beat.
I'll give you your wrestling reference that you will love. Look in your eyes. Living color.
Look in my eyes.
What do you see? Shout out to Living Color, of course,
The
man.
culture personality.
Some brothers who does rock music, them brothers get all. I'm gonna tell you right now,
Especially the guitarist.
They get all the way busy.
When he did the intro for Mania for Punk, oh, that was off the hook.
I'll give you your wrestling reference. I like that, but I was giving you examples. Keep going.
Well, another one that would be, I would say, is fairly iconic is Rock. Is Last Resort by Papa Roach.
Ooh, wait a minute. I haven't even heard that in a minute.
Because it starts off strong. It just starts off with vocals.
Well, if we're gonna talk about
Cut my life into pieces. This is my
Bam,
last
bam,
resort.
yeah, I like that. I got one better though, but go ahead. I got one better.
you gonna probably like this one. It's from Moby Flower. Bring Sally up, bring Sally down.
I like that too. I like that too.
Bring Sally up, bring Sally down.
I like that.
Boom.
I like that. I got two. I got some. We in here. I got some.
Let's hear it.
Wait.
The first one.
I got one more.
Okay, keep going. We're gonna throw some more out there.
Now you got me excited.
We're gonna throw some more out
If
there.
we're gonna Sail by Everlasting Game. Sail. This is how I think you love.
What, isn't there
Blame
an
it
album?
on an ADD, baby.
Yeah. Okay. I like that intro's okay.
It's
Owl Nation.
yeah. Sail. That's a good.
Yeah, that's a cool intro.
Okay, Cam.
Enter Sandman.
Oh!
Enter Sandman. Don't get it messed up. That intro is super. Man, if that don't get you hyped, here's the other one. Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana.
Oh, dude, that riff in the beginning.
If you don't get to that part, oh my God, that right there, if that don't get you hyped up, I don't care what type of music you like. If Smells Like Teen Spirit don't get you hyped up, there's something wrong with your music life. I'm sorry.
Okay, here's another one.
Man, if I had to go like rock and roll.
I'm just giving you an example. There is no.
I gotta keep it with my boys.
Okay, one more.
Go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
So, another one for me, or we get a little dirty with it, is Jungle Boogie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It
I like
starts
that.
with that string.
I like that. Yes. Jungle Boogie is good. That's a good one. That's good. I like that. That intro is actually really, really good. Keep going.
You can thank
Keep
Undercover
going.
Brother for
I'll come
my
out
taste.
the south of heaven.
Shout to Heaven is good.
And don't forget down below in the comments.
Yeah, y'all got to do this. So, like I said, I didn't put no bearings upon genres because there's so many good intros.
Thunderstruck.
Billie Jean. Yeah, that's a cold intro too. I like that. If you go into hip hop, personal ones that I like that people wouldn't even think about. The Choice Is Yours by Black Sheep. Yeah, that intro is one of those other ones. Like,
if I had to do that, I'll come out the T.I. Swagger Like Us.
No one else can call a guy swagger like us, swagger like us. Even though it's a sample from a sample, I do like that. That's a dope one. I like that.
Now, if we're gonna lean a little towards hip hop in this conversation. Well, then of course we got to bring up Wu-Tang.
Now, which one?
Now, okay. Now I'll start us off. I'll say this. Liquid Swords.
I like Liquid Swords.
I like Liquid Swords.
I got two. I maybe got two better, but go ahead. Maybe.
Oh no. Liquid Swords. Gravel.
I like Gravel. Gravel's intro is pretty good. But I still got two more.
I don't remember the name of it. But it's like dollar bills, y'all.
Cheese, cream. Yeah.
Cream.
I still got two more. Wu-Tang Clan. I got two for you. Don't worry. I got two.
For Wu-Tang, it'll be winning wars for me.
Yeah, I like that. I got two, maybe three.
Because at the end, when Redman start fooling,
Nah, but purely off the strength of the intro. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to F with. What's your style? That's what he's talking about. Wu-Tang. Yeah, that Wu-Tang, I love that intro. That intro's so underrated. And Triumph. Abomatomically. That intro. That Triumph is the intro's that's the boom doo 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 doo.
Now here's one I would say.
Oh man. Or Ludacris's Move. That too.
No, moving away
from driving music. Anyway, go ahead.
Moving away from rap just a little bit here. I would say this would be probably a good intro one. For the fellas in their hard times. Maybe It's a Man's World by James Brown.
That's a goodie. It's a man's world. Yeah, I like that. So if you take that era, you would have to do like Sitting on Top of the World. If you took that, Mr. Magic by Grover Washington Jr. That intro. Atomic Dog. If you took the Atomic Dog intro from Funkadelic.
If you're doing that, we're going to KRS-One. Step into the world.
Well, now. Now, to me, intros, from an intro point, I mean, the song is dope, but from an intro point of view, if you're gonna take that era, you would have to take,
boop, boop, that's the sound of the police. Boop, boop, that's the sound of the police.
Shout out to KRS-One and Boogie Down Production. Even though my favorite song from them would be My Philosophy, because I thought that was... I love that. My Philosophy. What else? I liked, from an intro point, like just pure intro point of view,
but for me, my all-time favorite intro, if I was going to come onto it, it'd be DMX, Gotta Let Me Fly.
Nah, from DMX's,
that hyped me up.
From DMX's catalog.
Better let me fly, or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath.
Well, if we're gonna do DMX, and it's gonna be what?
That's just me.
Triple X. Not Triple
X gon' give it to you.
Yeah. Boom, boom, ba 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 ba. Shout out to Swiss Beats, man. He gave him some gems.
Oh, now here's one, because people don't really talk about it anymore, because, you know, he's not as popular as he used to be, but his only song I really know by him is Here Comes the Boom by Nelly.
Well, first of all, we are well familiar with Nelly. But see, Nelly, this is my thing about Nelly. I love him and hate him at the same time.
Is he jelly?
No.
Why you hate him?
No, I don't hate him because of Ashanti and all that. No, scratch all that. No, because he did a lot of like super commercially stuff that was like I didn't really rock with. But
like when he does the stuff with Carol Hartman.
yeah, and no, it's not even that. It's not him as a person. It's just musically, it's like
So as an artist.
he did. Yeah, as an artist, he did the whole country grammar. Down, down, baby, in the main. I hate that song. It's stupid.
Now, Cameron, here's a question. Since we're on the topic of music, we've been talking about intros and whatnot. We've given our opinions. Make sure we leave those down below.
Please do.
But, hey, do you think, a little bit of a deviation, do you think Nickelback deserves the hate?
Do I think Nickelback deserve the hate?
That's a good question.
Genuinely.
That's a damn good question.
Yes, because I really think that, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that Nickelback was one of those ones that the industry pushed as really, really good,
But they won.
but they were just average. It was nothing that separated them to be like, they have a distinct sound and a distinct, like, their music was really, like, authentically theirs. They were just a really plain, like, pop rock band. See, here's the difference between a group like Nickelback versus a group like No Doubt. No Doubt they were very authentic. I mean, whether it was Gavin with the drums, whether it was Gwen Stefani, but the way that they put their music together was authentic. Another group who I say is more authentic, a newer group, Evanescence, rock group, very authentic. You know, they were very, like, their sound is a very distinct sound. You're like, that's Evanescence. You can pick it out of the air as soon as you hear the first notes of any Evanescence songs. Paramore, which is probably the best comp that I could give to Nickelback, even though Paramore did a lot of what you call commercially type pop rock stuff, but you could pick out a Paramore song and be like, that song is fire, that song deserve it, Haley could sing her butt off. That dude from Nickelback can't, I mean, he alright, but he can't really sing. The group didn't really do nothing special. They were just inauthentic to me. They just didn't do nothing to be like, this separates us. Every group that I named off has something that will separate them. Be like, this is what makes them good. This is authentically their sound. The thing about rock music that gets thrown under the radar, rock is like country.
Yeah.
Rock and country music, when you listen to like rock music and country, like pop rock music and the popular country music, if you listen to it in a vacuum and just let a radio station play, a lot of the songs sound literally the same. But then you'll hear like a few artists that will just jump off and be like, dang, that sounds really good. Even from country, like Tanner Adele or some of these other ones who could really do some stuff on there. Shabuzi is another one. Yeah, but I'm just telling you, these are people who be like, dang, they do something a little bit different, because when you hear certain music, it's just like Sonic. Even in rap, like if you listen to rap, like literally right now, sonically, like the way that it sounds, it all sounds the same. The only, like you got like your Kendricks and like your Drakes and stuff that kind of separate themselves from the pack, but most of the newer artists, they sound exactly the same. You couldn't tell me the artist if I played you 5 songs from 5 different artists, because it all sounds literally the same. That's how Nickelback is. They sound like so many other groups that there's nothing that they can hang their hat on.
That's a good point of view. I mean, give or take.
But it's an awful good question, because they got a lot of awards and a lot of stuff to show for it, so don't get it messed up.
This is going to be on the test. Pay attention.
Well, just going back to what you said, I mean, I think for me, because half of them, this new generation of rappers feel like they got the same, thrive on the same thing, because they rap about the same thing, so nothing's changing. But that's why I say, when you separate from old school hip hop versus new hip hop, at least that our old school era kept the beats different. Because when you think about it, how many times you hear on a song and you hear ladies and gentlemen, and then the intro song goes. I'd be like, man, this on this
yeah,
track too.
And you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's the tag phrase for Jazzy Faye. By the way, shout out to Jazzy. But
answer this before we go any further. What happened to people listening to reggae in the West? People were rocking with reggae for a
no,
minute, but
they
then
do.
kinda fell off.
They do. It's just it's not necessary. Well, let me rephrase it. Let me scratch that.
Because you don't really see it portrayed in media.
Let me scratch that for like a half second. So, what made reggae popular because you had artists. No, scratch that. No, Bob Marley was like the OGs. But I'm gonna go to like the newer artists.
Marley Bob.
No, Beanie Man, Elephant Man. I forgot lady. I forgot the lady's name off the top of my head. And Sean Paul.
Sean Paul.
Sean Paul. So when that pocket of music was popping.
Just give it a ride.
No, because what happened was they were connected. So they blended the reggae with hip hop. So they knew how to blend the two, or reggae with an R&B artist. Like Beanie Man was with Maya, dropped off a great song. Sean Paul dropped off a song with Beyonce and got fired. But during that pocket of time, they were like, well, since they were dropping off songs for these artists, we have to give them their own album. So for the pocket of the late 90s and early 2000s, reggae was the shot because you had that reggae sound.
Because it was the beat, it was the dance.
Well, it was
like when Sean Paul did that one song was
yeah, I'm still in love, and it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sean Paul was walking out.
Nah, Sean
Paul was walking out. Sean Paul and Beanie Man, as far as like out here, they were walking off a lot of great songs. But what happened was the sound of music changed. So instead of having so instead of having the reggae sound, take the reggae sound out and add the African sound in. That's what you have. You have all these African artists who are on now because that's the thing that's trendy. They still got they blend up. They do the hip hop tracks behind it, but it's just African rappers doing it versus reggae. And they do it. And the reason why that is because sonically, the African rappers, all that they do is take the regular basic hip hop songs, remix it, and drop it off into music today, which makes it sound sonically the same as what all other music is. Reggae was its own thing, where it was authentic, but it's only a pocket, and we kind of got away from it playing on the radio because again, Beanie Man is not around as much anymore. Even though now. I say that to say this: if y'all haven't had a chance to see Beanie Man on the NPR Tiny Desk concert, go see Beanie Man's Tiny Desk concert. Shout out to the NPR group. He got all the way busy on there.
Who's going on tour too? But I was still shocked that she's going. Well, I wasn't shocked, but like you never hear her go on tour for a while. Brandy.
Well, no, I already knew they were going on tour. They were talking about that, but. The reason why reggae fell off is because the sound kind of fell off and they substituted with the African sound. That's really what happened with that in that regard. But good question. Good question. But speaking of music, let me yeah, I'm gonna shift gears. So we're gonna talk about music, but I'm gonna talk about music in a different way. Did y'all hear this? So y'all hear this story? Well, let me start here before we get to I'm gonna get to the music part in a second.
Yeah, I know he is.
I am. Let me get to the music part in a second, but we're gonna start here. Fellas, have y'all been on a cruise?
I mean,
I have not been on a cruise.
I mean, have y'all been? I mean, literally. I mean, have you ever been on a cruise at any point? All right,
the closest thing I can say is a Queen Mary.
Which is kind of sort of, but you gotta kind of if you ain't been on a 3-day cruise, so there's cruise, so you go on a cruise. So basically, on the cruise, you go out there. Sometimes if you're on the West Coast, you travel from LA to Mexico for on a 3-day or 5-day, or if you're going to up north, you go on a 7-day from here to like Alaska and you come back. But on the cruise, if nobody's ever been on a cruise, think of a cruise ship is basically like think of it like a hotel with a lot of amenities. It's like you got rooms, you got clubs, you got restaurants, you got a pool, you got water slides, you got all this stuff popping off, right? But also, you people would think that, well, this is my time to kind of hang out, relax, do all this stuff. But Carnival Cruise is the story, as the story goes, is they're banning a lot of things now that people would normally be able to do on a cruise. Here's the things that they're banning. One, you cannot bring your own liquor onto the cruise.
Oh, we gotta do that.
No. Before you could. Before you kind of sneak some stuff in, and you could bring your own stuff on the cruise. But you can't.
Why?
We're gonna get there in a second. I'm leading somewhere. I'm gonna tell you what they're banning, and I'm gonna tell you why you think they're banning it. So they're banning liquor. Okay. The other thing you cannot take on a cruise at this point in time, you cannot take your portable speakers on the cruise ship.
Oh, it's not that.
We getting somewhere. I want you to pay attention. So you cannot bring your portable speaker on the cruise. Because before you were like, well, I'm in my own little hotel room. I want to get right. I'm trying to listen to my own little music. Yada yada yada. You bring your own little portable speaker. So you can't bring your portable speaker on there, right? Okay, cool. Here's the other thing that they're banning. So let's say you're down in the club and you want to try to listen to some music. The music that they're banning is rap music. They're literally banning.
I was gonna say it. I don't want to say it.
They're literally banning rap music. So the DJs cannot spin rap music in the club.
Not even Will Smith.
They can't even get jiggy with it. They can't. You can't even play. You can't even play "Summertime," boy. You can't play no Kid and Play. You can't play no Will Smith. You can't play no. You can't play no Salt and Pepper. Funny you should ask.
What color is the CEO?
Funny you should ask. So. Now, the reason why that they banned it is because they said that
they didn't feel safe.
More or less, the liquor was getting out of control. People were being a nuisance when it comes to like playing their music all loud in the cabin. Because if you've been on a cruise, the cabins are pretty tight knit together. So your room. It's like being in dorm rooms. Like you're basically separated by some thin walls, and you can kind of
by like plaster.
The little bit of music that even turn it up slightly, you can hear everything. So you got that going on, but you can't even go to the club and request like, dog, I just want to hear some Ludacris, some to dance. You can't even request no rap music. That's crazy. Anyway, the reason why that they said that they did it is because. I'm gonna be honest. When our folk get on the cruise ship, we get way too active. I'm gonna be honest with you. But part of that is they said there was so many fights. There was fights in the club. There was fights in regards to like in the cabins and stuff.
I'm gonna throw you overboard.
That stuff. We're gonna get to the overboard. We're gonna get to the overboard stuff in a second. We had like a little tragedy that happened. We're gonna get to that in a second. But what do y'all think about that? They banned the liquor, they banned the speakers, they banned you can't play no rap music. So the Brotherhood is thinking like they're literally specifically targeting them. This is Carnival Cruise Line, by the way.
Yeah, the most popular one.
Basically,
well, they're the cheapest of them all, but they are the most popular.
So which is not adding to.
But if you don't ban it, that's
it's not helping you.
This one
right.
here. This one
but
here.
if you're gonna ban on that, then why have a cruise?
So that's a good question. So if you
take away liquor, hip hop,
well, they're not taking away liquor. You have to go pay. You can't bring your liquor in.
You can't sneak in like you're going to the movies. Hey man, I'm gonna sneak in.
You can't bring in.
But you shouldn't. You shouldn't even be sneaking in liquor. You should.
Fool, do you know how much it is to get
liquor
on the cruise?
I know, but
one bottle like that.
That's like one bottle's like what? 100 and.
Getting a bottle on the cruise line is like $200. It's like getting a bottle in the club. Y'all do understand that, right? Liquor is expensive. So, but that's why people was like try to, hey, look, I'm just gonna bring a bottle. I ain't gonna get crazy. I'm gonna bring one bottle in with me. Then I'll get a bottle when I get to my destination.
But you know how that escalates. Somebody must have saw somebody with a bottle.
No, they were getting too jiggy. They were getting way too toasted.
See, it's that Hennessy.
No, you know how it is. You on a cruise ship, it's hot. You got that liquor up. I ain't gonna tell you what.
Hey, your girl look good. Hey, fool, your girl dancing with me.
See, you stupid.
I had to throw that out because I was watching next
stupid.
party after next. He said, "Hey, that's my woman you dancing with." That's how it starts.
And then a fight breaks out.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. You know, people fight over being liquored up and messing with somebody's girl, or somebody fighting in the club over somebody's girl. So do you think? So the question is, do you think that Carnival Cruise Line is actually
racist?
Wow. Well,
basically, in short, do you think it's really a race conversation, or do you really think it's a?
Okay, before you answer, let me ask you this question: What's the population of the ethnic on my cruise? What's the majority of it?
Well, I think remember it's a cruise, so obviously it's gonna be split. Obviously, it's not gonna be like I mean, on Carnival.
Don't shut up. I already had a feeling what you was gonna say. It ain't that kind of shit.
First of all, you nasty right now. This is what happens when you got too much time off, boys. This is what happens when you got too much time off. You nasty.
Oh, man. I mean, if it's gonna be that, I ain't mad at you, but I'm just saying. But you know, the reason why I asked that because that's basically what it sounded like.
No. It is. It's a lot of us that get to the cruise because that's one of the things we like to do. If we're gonna put some money up, instead, you'll notice that we're not always in Vegas and all, but we will get on a cruise if you've never been on a cruise before. And there's a lot of people who do like going on cruises often. I know people who go on cruises like, and that's the thing. I know moms get down like that, and I know your family rocks like that. So would that change? Would them taking away the speakers, taking away the ability to listen to the music that you so choose to, would that change you actually deciding to go onto a cruise? Y'all never been on a cruise before, but would that sway you from going on a cruise or going with Carnival Cruise Line in particular? I should say that.
Let me break it down this way. Okay, so, personally, do I think that making these changes is right? No, because ultimately it's not going to fix what they're afraid of.
Agreed.
This is an individual problem. It's not really a material problem or a musical problem. And it may help just a teeny tiny bit, but not enough to justify doing what they're doing. But on an ultimate sense, in a business sense, they're perfectly within their right to do this. They are found to be in no wrong. This is their corporation. These are their boats. This is their staff. So on both accounts, I am not bothered by their decision, but I do think that they are deluded in thinking that this is going to fix anything. Because it's like banning guns in certain states, thinking that's going to stop guns showing up in the hands of criminals, right? Well, that's the same thing here. People are going to really, if there's one thing a person loves to do, it's to find a way to get around something.
Yep.
Right? Especially this. I mean, you better believe they're going to be sneaking on little bottles of alcohol or whatever, right? Or
little baby shoes.
Or, people are going to be walking around with their earbuds or headphones on from now on instead of just listening to the speaker. Which personally I think they should have done to begin with. I don't understand the appeal listening to a speaker. But also banning music from the clubs of the ship, rap in particular. It just feels like that, because that's literally club music.
Right.
So, you took about like 2/3 of the options away, what it feels like.
Yep.
That's a bit of an extreme exaggeration.
No, but it's not that extreme.
But, it's like you're cutting out like half the deal here.
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, all this is going to do is it's going to aggravate a portion of their customer base, which isn't what you want to do. And ultimately, I think this is going to cost them more money in the long run instead of helping them maintain the certain dishes they're trying to have.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just there for the experience, just to see, because necessarily I don't have to go turn up on, even though I want to, but it's other activities on there. You got the pool, you might got a little roller coaster on there. But the food, I mean, you ain't finna turn down no food.
It's shrimp, lobster, fish, octopus,
stuff like that.
Can't even look at it.
I mean, it's it's got to be different activities on that cruise ship.
Yes.
Besides, going on to the club.
But
they got gambling. But
you gotta remember when you're on a cruise. And certain people's aspect is like, yo, I want to go listen to some good music with the DJ.
Well, I tell you
but
what,
I can't
why don't you just go on a Chris Jericho cruise and we just go watch a wrestling match? You go on there.
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing though. I would want to be able to go into a cruise, be able to like, dog, I can at least request the song that I would want to hear.
You know, hey, can we get some scoop in here? Dirty.
Basically, I mean, I knew people who would literally be like, look, DJ, I'm gonna slide you a couple of $100. You're a fool. DJ, I'm gonna slide you a couple of $100. I want you to play like these little 15 songs in this little rotation.
Imagine,
but then it's like,
imagine the ship captain just like, I think we turned the ship around.
Basically, no, because what they're saying is, if you don't adhere to the rules, they could drop you. They could drop you off at any port that they so choose to, and you gotta find your way home. Meaning that you could be in the middle of Mexico, and they could just drop you off in the middle of Mexico and be like, well, you violated,
and they still fine you.
And they'll violate you for that.
What, $500 fine?
Yeah, you'll get fined. Leave you in the country where you don't know how to get home from, and you gotta find your way back.
I don't see no brothers out here. It's cold.
No, it's like, dude, you in another country. You can't even speak. You can't even speak the language.
Don't leave me here. I don't know if they're gonna do.
I'll turn it down.
No, I'm just saying that you know how crazy that is, how crazy that sounds right now. That's the type of stuff that they're on right now. Do I think it's targeted towards black people?
It's both.
Yes.
No,
but I think we partially put it on ourselves because when you see, the problem is when you see
black people get ignorant.
No, what happens is this is where social media kind of skews the image. When you see a fight on a ship, who is it typically fighting? It's us, right? And the reason why I say that is because we're the ones who's not trying to sit there and break it up. We're the ones who want to film the stupid thing first and let them get their we want to film it, put it out on social media, and then act like the CEOs and all the people who make the money on these ships don't be seeing this stuff. All these CEOs see is that, well, on social media, this is what they're listening to, this is what they're doing, this is what's happening. So if we take away the rap music, we take away them playing it in the club, we take away the liquor, we take away the speakers, hopefully we can stop the fights.
Well, it's gonna be less attraction on that.
Well, because I'm gonna tell you right now, most people,
that's basically what's gonna come down
because
to.
people ain't gonna be spending like hundreds of dollars on liquor on the cruise. People ain't gonna even want to get in the club. So what's the good of the club if your club only got like 35 people in it?
Well, here's another thing, right?
You know, music
Nah, what you want me to do? Y'all seen white chicks?
No, you gotta.
Exactly. Exactly. But you're gonna be trying to grind with the girl, and y'all both gonna have earphones on, and y'all gonna be.
Is that Nickelback?
Exactly. Shout out to Nickelback. Y'all still whack, but anyway, go ahead.
No hate, just. But no, real quick. So you asked if this was targeted, and I think it's targeted in the sense of like it's targeted without precision.
Yep.
As in, this is a shotgun blast response.
Mm-hmm.
As we're hoping by getting rid of these things or altering these things, we're going to wipe out the majority of the problem here.
True.
Targeted would be something that would probably like literally cause everyone in our board pretty much. Like if they did something so egregious like as a black tax.
Yep.
Or if you were black, you got charged more. Right? If they did something like that, then that's literally targeted, but it's not. I mean, the fact, yes, it's rap. Yes, you can't bring liquor on anymore. Yes, no loudspeakers and whatnot. Nothing about that screams black people, but everyone's looking at black people.
Well, because come on, let's keep it honest.
So, should you think that they should have just went out and said, black people are the problem?
They are saying. I mean, in short, that's
directly,
what they're indirectly saying that it's y'all. It's y'all being too. They're basically telling you y'all being too rowdy. Y'all turning up too much. Y'all.
Mother. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Right.
putting cases
You gotta
on all you.
You gotta remember,
do
this
this
is.
to me.
You gotta remember, these are CEOs who got money, who could say, well, we want it old school. We want this demographic to be on there. But
Shit,
see,
that ain't
but
my-
here's
yeah.
but here's the
Yeah.
kicker. Part of the appeal of being on a Carnival cruise line is because when you first get on the boat. So if y'all ever been on a cruise before all this happened, you've been on Carnival Cruise Line. You've seen the one in Long Beach, by the way. If y'all if y'all know about Long Beach, California, there's a Carnival Cruise Line that's right there on the dock. As soon as they dock up, everybody's on the top level. You got the DJ playing some music. They're sitting up there dancing and partying and all that stuff. You want that energy going into that event because everybody's excited to be on there and stuff. Everybody's dancing. You know what they're playing? Hip hop music.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to take that part away. So you're going to take away one of the funnest parts of being on there is when you first walk on, everybody's kind of hanging out. They put their bags onto their room. They come out to the deck, and everybody's chilling, hanging out, dapping each other up. Everybody's cool with each other. No fights, no nothing. All you do is see the camera. You see it also. You see that part in social media too. But they don't want to show that part. All they want to show is the few knuckleheads who get into the fight because they get too liquored up.
Now here's the question, Cameron. Would you say that this is flat out racism?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like racism, even though they're not gonna say it. Well, because there's like, well, we're not just banning black people from it. We're banning everybody from doing it. True. So I can't say it's direct racism, but you know who you're trying to target. You know what you're trying to target. You're not like you went in there and said, well, the DJ can't play Linkin Park. You didn't go in there and say, well, the DJ can't play Katy Perry or Nickelback.
Well, who knows? Maybe this will cause reggae to come back.
But see, this is here's the thing. Now, what you gonna play like? Well, let's say a song is a hybrid song, so that means you can't play no Katy Perry and Kanye West. You can't play no who else got a hybrid song? No Britney Spears and Pharrell. You can't play no. I mean, think about all your.
What's hilarious is you can't play the ink spots.
Right. So you can't let your DJ. So your DJ just got to play some basic blends and stuff. Just think about that. You can't play Summertime because you're afraid of people are gonna get too turned up off Summertime.
And with the salsa dance.
So here's the thing. So what happens if you're playing like reggaeton music, which is a form of rap music, by the way, and this still happens? Then what? What, you gonna stop reggaeton? I just want them to understand I want to understand the rabbit hole that you're going down, because all it takes is, well, this demographic is on, they're getting turned up to reggaeton, too much liquor, too much tequila, too much of this. Now y'all want to stop reggaeton? Oh, but if you're on the East Coast, they don't do that on the East Coast. You're just trying to do it out here in the West. Okay. It is targeted. They know they're trying to be funny. I'm not saying that they're completely wrong, because I think that when we get on cruise ships and stuff, we got to do better. We got to stop all the fighting and antics and stuff too. We got to stop getting so drunk that y'all don't know what y'all doing. You guys to kind of cool out on all that. So there is a line. So there's both sides to the equation. I'm not saying that they're completely wrong. I'm just saying that they're being targeted. They're targeting too. Anyway, speaking of cruises, did y'all hear about this real quick? Y'all hear about the story about this the daughter? They were on a cruise ship, and the daughter fell into the water, and then immediately the dad had to go and jump into the water to go save his daughter, because the daughter could barely swim.
How old was she?
The daughter, I think it was like 8 or 10, somewhere in that area. Yeah, go. But the daughter was like 8 or 10 years old, and she fell over. So I don't know how she fell over, but she fell over. And you gotta remember, you're in the ocean. This ain't no like lake or nothing. No, you're in the ocean with the sharks, and then it's cold, it's all that stuff. And the dad, being a parent, not just sitting there in panic mode, he said, "Look, I'm going to go save my daughter."
Yeah.
He just dives in, swam, was holding his daughter up, was treading water with the daughter, daughter in panic and stuff, and holding the daughter. And he had to tread water for a long period of time, a good like 45 minutes to an hour, keep her up, keep himself up, just to make sure that his daughter was safe and out of harm's way. Now, I know me as a parent, if it was my 2 kids, I would have done the same thing. I don't care if I can swim, not swim, no matter what. I don't care if I have to jump down there with the little floaty inner tube and I just dive down. I'm going for my kid. Forget all that.
So what's the controversy?
So most people was like, I don't know if I would have jumped into the water like that. You don't know if you would have jumped. You don't know if you would have jumped into the water. First of all, the kicker was, he didn't hesitate. He didn't flinch. He just said, I'm going with it.
I'm king of the world.
No,
You want Titanic in it?
No.
But here's the thing. That's his daughter. What did you expect?
Because most people like, don't jump in. Let the lifeguards get him. No, forget all that. If my kid is in the water, I'm in the water. If my kid goes down, I'm going down with my kids. I don't care.
So the controversy comes from the fact that there are people who are willfully admitting of their own volition that they would not jump in the water to save their kids.
Well, because people will say it, but when it really comes down to it, they get too afraid, they freeze up, they lock up. No, this dad went in there and jumped in and said, look, I'm going. He didn't think twice about it, he didn't hesitate, and he just jumped over and said, look, I'm going to go save my daughter, period. But most people would have been like, well, let me go run and grab help. I ain't running to grab help.
I'm grabbing my child.
I am the help.
Exactly. I'm the help. What did Will Smith say on no. What was it? It was on iRobot. Don't save me, save the girl. Y'all remember on iRobot when they were fighting other robots and stuff, and old girl was dangling from the ledge and stuff, and she had the little nanites in her hand. I'm iRobot. Watch a great movie. And he told Sonny, "Don't save me, save the girl."
What was it? It was Bad Boys. I think it was Will Smith with Will Smith, and it was backup. I got you, you got me. That's what the backup we need.
Yeah, exactly. Bad Boys, the OG Bad Boys. That is absolutely correct. See, people got to take that approach. Sometimes, when families in need, friends in need, whatever it may be, a lot of people, no matter what the situation is, they want to like hum and haw, like, well, they'll tell you like when everything's going good, they're going to tell you, well, if something goes bad, I'ma help. But when stuff really goes bad, they ain't helping. They humming and hawing. They're hesitating. They don't want to really jump in. They don't want to really help. No. If something goes bad with my family or anybody in my circle, including these two here, there is zero hesitation about going in there to help. No matter what that looks like, you go in there to help. A lot of people don't function like that, and I think that's part of the lesson that I want to convey, because it kind of ties into something bigger. Even when things are going wrong, you will know who is really for you and really against you. Or the people who may be for you, they may not be really for you. They say that they're for you, but when you really need something, or you need some help, or when stuff is going sideways, they're not there in the trenches to try to help you get out. They're hesitating. I did say I was going to help, but I'm going to try to find somebody else who can help you. Forget that. If you need help, I always tell you, if y'all need help, y'all ask me. I ain't going to hesitate to help y'all.
It's one of those things too, which you're like, I don't need someone more qualified. I need you.
Right. And sometimes, even if I don't have all the answers, get me anyway. I'll be in the trenches with you, and we'll figure this out. Y'all do understand that, right? Because we all go through stuff. We make mistakes. We go through situations. Sometimes life feels like you didn't fell over and hit the water, and you out there on your own with the sharks, and you don't know how to swim, and you barely dog paddling to save your life. But then you got a whole bunch of onlookers on the side some of them family, some of them friends, some of them co-workers, whatever that may look like. They're on looking, they want to film, they want to do all this stuff, they want to tell you how to maneuver, but they're not willing to help. You got too many people who don't want to just jump in and help.
Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, the greatest help that there can be is presence.
Right.
And that is probably the most beneficial thing, because being there is already, that's half the fight.
Right.
So if you're there and something goes wrong, here's the other hard part, you stay.
Right.
I mean, obviously if it's not life-threatening,
Correct.
I'm not saying like you stay in a burning building. Let's clarify that. Let's say something like this, something goes wrong, you're on the highway with your boy, car crash, he gets hurt but he's awake. You stay.
Right.
You don't leave. I don't even care if it's to leave to go get help. You stay.
You don't leave. I mean, you go. You could call. There's so many things that you could do there. You stay in the trenches. You be there for people, no matter what that looks like. You know, I think that's where a lot of people get wrong. And I see this story, and people were like questioning the dad for jumping into the water. Forget that. I would have definitely jumped into the water for any of my family members. I would have jumped into the water for my friend. Forget all that. If we in there, if we out there, we out there. We gonna figure it out. We dog paddling together. No, but see, in life,
You can float, right?
no, exactly. No, but in life, people go through situations where they need the help. They need the assistance. People, things go sideways.
I think what it is too, because a lot of people are afraid to admit that they do need help, and they're afraid to open up because certain ones are afraid of rejection or anything like that. But regardless of what happens, in a transparent situation with something like this where somebody's life on the line, are you willing to take the risk of your own life to save another life?
Yes.
That's basically what it is. So, like, for example, that's somebody's daughter. Of course, any parent would like you just said, you a parent, can you?
I
Either one of your kids.
It wouldn't even.
I wouldn't even
have to flip and take. I wouldn't be taking nothing off. You know how quickly I would have been in the water.
So
They'll be halfway down. They'll be halfway to air. I'm doing this.
So
I'm literally
now,
trying to do the whole grab in midair type thing. I'm going after him.
But see, even with that, did they fault the father for that?
No, they're not really faulting the father per se, but you know how certain people are.
They're feeling guilty because they know dang well they wouldn't.
They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it. But see, if you're unwilling to do something in a dramatic situation, what happens when it's something simple? Well, I don't know if I'm really able to help you. This is the type. This is how people are. People always will talk about being in support, or talk about help, or talk about when things happen. But when it really comes down to it, they ain't really about that. They ain't about it.
Who do we blame?
You blame the person who's running off their mouth. If you're not going to be about it, don't say it.
So why? Here's the thing. Nobody would know how flaky you are like a croissant if you just kept your mouth shut. Because
Right.
it feels like because they know how cowardly they are, so it feels like they're trying to deflect accusations that aren't even pointed their way yet,
Right.
which all it does is condemn them. So it's one of those things where it's like, at this point, opening your mouth is not helping you.
Right, because I always say, if I'm gonna do something, if I'm gonna ride with my team, I'm riding with my team. This is what we do, and this is why that's why I always tell y'all. I tell my 4 aces, and my family already knows. If y'all need something, come get it. It's not a hesitation about me helping or not helping. I'm going to help. You don't have to worry about that part. But here's, that doesn't mean there's not going to be no training, no correcting, no anything. It's going to be all that too. But guess what? I'm still helping. Because if I said I'm going to help, that's what I'm going to do. That's what commitment is. You see this, people always want to semi-commit. What do I mean by semi-commit? Here's something for the kids in the back. People always say that, and then if it's convenient for a person to help or convenient for a person to intervene to a situation, they will. But if it's not convenient for that person, then they won't do it. A lot of people will only do something because it's convenient
If
for
it
them.
was convenient, you aren't needed.
Right. But if somebody's in need, you can't use your convenience as an out. See, the problem is only people only do stuff for other people when they feel it benefits them.
Shouldn't be like
And it happens. You see it in friendships. You see it in relationships. You see this stuff all the time. People do stuff out of their personal convenience versus with the pure attitude of being a helpmate or being a person who is a helper or somebody with the term is servitude. Somebody who's there to help and to assist and don't have to get anything in return for it. That's where a lot of people get wrong. Because we go through situations and stuff all the time. I use that as an example because you can even see an extreme situation where somebody did and didn't hesitate about helping. You have people questioning the father for helping. Or they're applauding him for ooh, the dad did such a great thing. No, the dad did exactly what he said he was going to do when he gave birth to the kid. If anything happens to you, and nothing happens to you unless nothing happens to you unless it happens to me first. If you're in dire need or you're in trouble or whatever it may be, I'm going to be there to help. He's being a parent. That's what he committed to. But most people who are parents don't think of it like that.
Here's the thing too, you never stop being a parent, no matter how old that kid gets.
You should never stop being a parent. You should never stop being a friend, whatever that looks like.
Because no matter how old that kid gets, guess what?
You're still be a parent. My kids is 24 and 20 respectively. I'm still their dad, no matter what. They could be 54 and I could be 74. Guess what? I'm still a dad, no matter what. And I will still address them the same exact way.
Need you to go buy me some jerky.
Facts. Facts. I need some turkey jerky. Word to my two kids, of course. But I just want to say that as a caveat because I think a lot of people like those little stories, those things fly under the radar, and it was a big. Don't get me wrong, it was a big story. It was national news and stuff. But
because nowadays we live in a day and age where people don't know what the word sacrifice means anymore.
Right.
Sacrifice is a very heavy word. It's significance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sacrifices aren't done lightly, or else it's not a sacrifice. If it's convenient, it's not a sacrifice. If it's easy, it's not a sacrifice. A sacrifice is something heavy. Your own pound of flesh, if you will. Say whether it be financial or time-consuming or traveling or whatever it may be. True sacrificial love is very rarely displayed nowadays. What you saw with the father and the daughter was sacrificial love because he very well could have died. She may have perished as well, but he jumped in there knowing very well that his life was on the table along with hers.
Yep.
That is sacrificial love. He was willing to sacrifice himself in hopes to save his daughter.
Yep.
A bit of an extreme example, but an example nonetheless. Another form of sacrificial love, say you're in the middle of work right now, right? You're in the middle of a meeting, it's an important meeting, it's a make or break one for the company, whatever, right? And say your sister or your mother or your wife or whatever, or your brother or someone close, or just a friend, calls up and says, hey, I am trapped on the freeway, it's 100 degrees out here, I ain't got no water, please help me.
Right.
Now, sure, you could send a tow truck or something, or the money's for that, but I think if someone's calling for your help, they probably want you yourself there.
Right.
And a true sacrifice would be saying, hey, there's an emergency, I gotta go. But you need it here, but someone else needs me. This is work, they are not.
Yes, of course. And here's where I could relate to that. I remember when my ex-wife and the kids got into an accident. They were on the freeway. She ran into a car. She was off to the side. A car hit her from behind, and they all were hurt. I'm at work. I'm working at Best Buy at the time. I'm at work. I get the call. Hey, we got into an accident. I don't know if the kids are okay, and I don't know if I'm okay. I'm in the middle of running a transaction. I remember it to this day. I told my dog Kenji, I'll be back. Cam, what's going on? There was an accident. I'll be back. I will let y'all know when I get back and all the details. I didn't hesitate. Blue Best Buy shirt on, khakis on, whole nine. I get into the car and I'm sticking and moving to get to the freeway to get exactly to where they are. I'm sticking and moving so fast, the cops is looking at me like, what's going on? I pull off to the side. I hit the emergencies. I'm not even in the right frame of mind. I'm walking on the wrong side of the stupid freeway. Almost got myself hit because cars are zipping by, not watching me, just to try to make sure that the kids were cool and she was cool. So the crazy thing about it was, kids, they had to get everybody to the hospital. Load everybody up to the car. Get in mine. I left the other car there, got into my car, had to go get them to the emergency room. Got them to the emergency room. I called moms. Moms, I need you right now. Know what my moms did? She was at work. Dropped everything that she did. Made sure that they were cool. Mom, do this. Call my sister, Kim. I got to go double back to go get the car because the car is still on the freeway. I got to go double back to go get it. So I had to double back, go, have my sister drop me to go get the other car to get that off the freeway and sit at the hospital all day. No hesitation. Why? Because the people that you love is in jeopardy and it's a problem. You're not going to hesitate. I dropped everything that I was doing at work. They could have fired me for what I did because I literally just bolted, but they understood. They understood it was an emergency. They knew what was going on. They knew I was in the hospital. But the thing was, sometimes you got to drop that, even though it's like, look, I could have lost, you ain't supposed to just up and walk off like that. Mm-hmm. But I had to, because that was the trade-off I was willing to make.
Listen, no, I'm sorry. Look, it's like you can find another job, but you ain't going to find another kid and wife.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. We're not arguing over the kids being. I remember that. I remember them being in two different. They're both in emergency room, literally next door to each other, all getting checked out.
Shoot, I remember my ex when she got in an accident. I'm at work. Call me. I had an accident. Hey, I gotta go. Boom.
Yep.
Say less. What you gotta do? Come back. Hey, I handle. But as things progress, things happen in the blink of an eye. So your mindset is, okay, let me stay calm. They call me. Let me get to them before something else. But at the same time, at least you say, hey, I got a situation. When I get all the information, I respectfully gotta let you know, but hey, I got bounced. At least you told them.
No, I just said I didn't even get that far. I said I literally was grabbing my keys. I just remember telling my dog Kenji, I'll be right back. Tell them I'm going. I gotta go take care of this. Cam, what's going on? They got into an accident. Just let them know that. I don't know all the details. I'm on my way. I didn't even know exactly where they were. I'm just mashing, doing 100 on the freeway. By the way, I was on them skates. But to get to them, it didn't matter what the situation was. I could have went to jail. I could have done a whole bunch of great stuff because I was being a little erratic. I ain't gonna front. But for my kids, that's what was going to happen. For real. It's just what it was. But that's an extreme thing. But even in non-extreme situations, when people go through stuff, my thing is, if you call on me and say, Cam, I need you, it's what it is. I'm there.
It's one of those things that, listen, man, I don't know what you can do, but I need you there.
Right. Cam, I need this.
If you don't know either, then let's not know together. I'd rather have you there.
Right. Cam, I need this. Let me get you there. Cool. Cam, I need this. Let me help you out. Let me just try to put this together. This is what we do.
Cam, what's 2 plus 2?
4. Not 4. 4. But speaking of that, let me transition that into this particular conversation, because when you talk about like doing stuff with a purpose, the one thing that when you see all this stuff transpire with ice and all this stuff, there's two sides of the conversation. And really what it comes down to is one word: purpose. Why are the people, fighting against it? And why is the other side of the ledger for this? purpose. That's the biggest key to the equation. I understand both sides of the argument. I really do, to be honest with you. I understand both sides. I understand both sides of the argument, but it comes down to purpose. But I'm gonna let y'all get into the ice thing real quick, because I'd rather get y'all thoughts and ideas first, and I will tell y'all minds behind it.
I prefer room temperature.
Huh?
I prefer room temperature.
I know you do.
Here's my thing on that. You know, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody with that situation, because obviously, you know, so many, you know, there's been so much craziness been going on since the ice thing started. But I will say this in respect to the because if you've been here for quite some time, regardless of any or not, you should have already was able to work on your citizenship.
He's mad that they
So
got
let me clarify just for the kids in the back who wasn't paying attention. Your position is, if you were here for a good period of time,
5
you
years.
should have been working on your citizenship.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Disrespectfully.
No. I know.
But at the same time,
you don't have to put respectfully on it.
yeah,
Hey, that's just honest.
Because you know, it can all go either ways. But at the same
Mhm.
time, they took it too far to the point that now you got ISIS, even not even ISIS, just saying it's ISIS. Just, you know, get a threat of, oh, I'm gonna snatch this person, I'm gonna just grab this one. You're not even asking these people identification. You just see him, oh, he might be leaving. Let me go and grab this person. That's the part I get upset about. I'm like, well,
I got that too.
because I seen it happen. I'm like, wait a minute. How do you even know if he, you know, a citizen or not?
So you're questioning the process.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's me.
I got that.
Because, you know, you can't just, and then, you know, I hate when, you know, especially with social media, you see them going overboard and ISIS just beating up one of these poor, you know, citizens. You know, now you done started something, now people unify something. It's not just, you know, expansion up. Now you got certain white people, certain others. Hell, one of my good buddies who I trained with, he was on the news, you know, with the Compton horses. They coming down the line. And I told him, hey, man, I'm so proud of you, you know, because you're standing up for what you believe in, you know, regardless of the situation. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we all human and we all children of God. But at the same time, you know, there are rules and regulations to this. It goes on when we go to different sides of the countries too. Because if we go to another country, you know they gon' where's your passport? Are you a citizen? Stuff like
You said something very important. There's rules to this.
To this.
Keep that in touch. Keep going.
But I will say this: it should have been handled differently.
Okay.
That's for me.
And it should be handled differently.
Because now it's just going way too overboard.
I'm giving bullet points for the kids in the back.
But you know, that's all I have to say on that.
I know you up.
Smile for the camera. Let them see that.
Let me see your grill. The grill.
So, okay, ICE, immigration control. They're necessary. I don't think they're an apartment that should be abolished. I know some people really feel that way nowadays, but I do think that they are very valuable to us as a nation. Are they being trigger happy at the moment? Yes. But at the same time, it doesn't help that there are people who are innocent running away. I've even heard about this, right? My mom talked to, some of her coworkers and whatnot, right? And there have been times where ICE visited them, right? And there were those who ran who were legal.
Yep.
But they ran. Running never makes you look innocent. That doesn't help, right? If you are innocent, if you are legal, don't run.
Perfect.
Do not run.
Bullet point. If you are a citizen, why are you running? Keep that point. Go ahead.
Second, if you are actually here illegally, right? No green card, no nothing. Complete, trespassing on a nation that does not welcome you because, well, you came in through the back door. Right? You can run, but at that point, you're getting what you deserve. Right? If you come here legally, you don't belong here. You come here legally, you're more than welcome.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, how can you call someone your neighbor if they come through the back door?
Correct.
Right? Would you trust anyone, Cameron, if you were living next to them and they tried to come through your back door without telling you?
Correct. Or they sneak in.
How would you feel?
No, you make a good point. I like the point. So
Can I add one more purpose on that?
No.
let me answer this question. I'll let you the point. So that's a very good point. Would you let somebody just walk in your door and sit down on these chairs?
Eat your chips.
No. Yeah, you don't do all that. Just come to the door and just sit down on your chair.
Hands in your pickles.
And then you walk in and be like, well, who are you?
Drink all your milk.
All the chicken.
What a pig feed.
All the hog moss.
They didn't flush.
No, but you make a good point. So if nobody is willing to let somebody walk in and sit down in a chair, then why should the country be like that? Good point. I agree with that too.
Because
I'm going to address all this in a minute. I'm just letting y'all get your points off.
Because basically, in a basic sense, if it doesn't work on the local scale, it's not going to work on the national scale.
That's a damn good fact.
This is the point. If it doesn't work in your own personal life, why should it work on a national level? Good point. Very good point. Go ahead. Get your points off.
But see, what bothers me with this situation is how do they know certain areas where they're targeted at? That's what gets me like, oh, so you necessarily say, oh, they in Southgate, or they in Cunningham, or they in Whittier, this and that, the other, or at Santa Fe Spring Mall. So basically, they already knew. Oh, well, we can go find all these people.
I'm pretty sure they're getting call-ins.
Call-ins and stuff like that. But see, as political as this is, and I hate to say this is what they wanted. This was going to end up happening one way or another. But the point I'm trying to make is, it should have been, and like I said before, it should have been handled a different way. Because now you're just saying, oh, I'm just gonna sweep up all these people. Then after that, then what? Then what's next?
No, they're sending them back. So we'll get there in a minute.
Because here's the thing, all right. Some of the arguments you hear is that, well, it's difficult to become an American citizen. That's a flat out lie. It's not that difficult. You are asked to complete a very basic survey on American history and whatnot, and the whole process costs about $700. Right. Now, I understand for someone who's here, say from down south, right, that's a lot of money. However, if they're here for multiple years on end and they can't scrounge up $700 to become a citizen.
But here's another question: Would that work both ways? So let's say if I didn't want to be in the United States anymore, if I wanted to move to a different continent, do I have to do the same?
Yes.
That's what I'm. So
yes.
It should be. Yeah. So they should make that point.
No,
right there
that's
as well too.
That's
part of the argument
this is the argument in a nutshell. Here's part of the conversation. We'll start here. Could we go to another country? Pick it. Mexico, Brazil, Germany, China, France, Japan, Singapore, Canada. Can we go across? No. Can we go to another country and be there free and clear and live there for years on end, making money, not paying taxes, using their resources?
Yeah. I see where you're going with that.
And think it's okay.
Yeah.
So let's break it down using your exact terms. So if it's like that, that means that somebody came into your house, sat in your chair, used your TV, used your internet, played some play. No, listen to me. I want you to understand this because this is important.
You got your feet on my couch?
No. Sleeping in your bed, playing your Xbox, eating your food, and have the audacity to try to holler at your girl. And you don't know them. And you be like, well, who are you to be in my house, eating my food, playing on my Xbox, using my internet, and trying to holler at my girl? And you got the audacity to try to take some of my money out and some of my money that I have out. So if it doesn't work on that scale, what makes you think it works on a bigger scale? But that's what people want. People want it to be like, well, it's convenient for me because I need the resources to bring back home to my country. Well, do it the right way. The only reason why this is a conversation piece is because y'all made it a conversation piece. Y'all made it a conversation piece by y'all not wanting to do the steps. Y'all wanted to come in and, for a lack of a better term, pillage. Now.
That's a strong word.
No. So what is so let me sort of definition time for the kids in the back. What does pillage mean? You're going in there, taking resources from somebody else and taking it back to your home.
So black market, basically.
No, it doesn't matter. It's not even. You're just taking it home. You're taking it to your spot, which may be in your country, and you're not giving back to what's here now.
But
No.
Go ahead.
So now that we kind of established that point, here's where I understand where it gets a little bit tricky. So, do you think that businesses play a role in aiding people who are not here legally?
No, they shouldn't.
No, I didn't say that they should or shouldn't.
I hate to
Do
say this.
they?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Why do you? So why is that?
Because it's cheap labor.
Because it's cheaper to pay somebody else with the amount of resources who don't really know something as valuable. So they say, okay, I don't know this, but hey, I could just have this person.
So
just
here's where I
watch this and pay them less.
Here's where I understood the argument to a degree. So these businesses will be like, well, I know that you're not supposed to be here. I don't have to pay no taxes against your labor. I could pay you on the cheap.
Yeah.
Instead of me paying you like $16 to $18 an hour, I'm paying you $5 an hour. And instead of me having to pay taxes against you, I don't have to pay no taxes for you to be under my workforce. No. Listen to what I'm saying here. So businesses are people who are helping perpetuate this ICE situation because they allowed them to sit there and make resources, because these companies, major companies by the way, allowed them to be there to just cash in so they could get cheap labor and get cheap resources and not have to pay a person like you or I the money that we would ultimately have to be paid, pay for the medical, pay for the Social Security.
Mom, you can come in.
Yeah, mom can come in. She don't have to sit there.
Yeah.
Come in.
Go ahead.
You don't have to pay for none of the resources and stuff like that. But this is the problem that lies right now. Ooh, snacks.
But see, okay, so here goes the question: how do we solve this?
See, the problem is
That's
that
the question. That's the $1 million
no.
question.
The answer is this is the solve.
I mean, okay, look, here, let's pull out a part. I get everything what you said, Kev, and everything is right. But at the same time, okay, are you going to, since now this happened, do certain businesses go out of business because of that?
No, certain businesses need to get their business practices together. So what do I mean by that? So if you're going to hire people under the table, that means you're doing bad business. So if you're doing bad business, and this is the only way you can stay afloat, then you shouldn't be in business to begin with. Because that means that you're not doing business on the up and up. You're not generating enough money. You're not, whatever your situation like, that means your business practice ain't good.
Now, two, since, half majority of people got deported and stuff like that, will they still get like an opportunity to try to get their citizenship, or do they lose their privileges?
Now, that's two different questions. Can they or should they? Here's the problem. They had ample opportunity to do this.
I get all that.
No. But the reason why that they probably won't allow him to do it is because they had this opportunity. If you've been sitting in the U.S. for over a year, I'm pretty sure you had access to resources that you really shouldn't have had. That means that you had access to medical, dental, all that stuff. If you're in California, you had access to all that. You had free phones. You had the opportunity to work, even though it was probably under the table. You're probably getting there for cheap. And some people take those little cheap jobs to get regular jobs.
But then you think they even knew how to do it?
Somebody walked them through it.
Or at the very least, they
Somebody walked. Now you gotta remember, there's people who literally is there to assist. Well, I'm trying to assist people to get jobs and stuff. They didn't see that. Here's the kicker: they wanted them to get the labor, but they didn't want to walk them through to get the actual immigration status together. This is what I didn't understand. So you're willing to try to help them with getting? You can get a driver's license and not be a citizen. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
You know when that rule came into effect? About 7 years ago. Wasn't even that long ago. Where you could get a driver's license and not be a citizen. Why? Because they knew that there were so many illegal people in the U.S., especially in California, and they were just driving willy-nilly and getting into accidents and didn't have no insurance and none of that stuff. They didn't go through none of the process. But when somebody who does get hit by them and they just running and dipping and they don't have no resources to get to them because they don't have no access to them, they just gave them a driver's license. They just gave them, well, since you're already here, we're going to give you
Here's the thing. So the question was, so basically, if right before we kicked them out, we gave one more chance to get them citizen. That wouldn't work because at the end of the day, if they didn't do it yesterday, they're not going to do it tomorrow. They had no intention of ever becoming a citizen. They were either complacent, or they didn't care, or this was the plot all along. The point being is giving it to someone last minute to avoid getting kicked out. No, I don't believe in a last chance like that, right? Because it's not a last chance.
It's just something you said. You made a very good point. Do you reward bad behavior?
No, you punish it.
Then you just answer. Then that's the answer to the question.
Because that's what it is. You don't give a last chance to the convicted.
You correct bad behavior, and then in the correction, if they show remorse, willing to change their life, whatever that may look like,
you still punish them.
You can still punish them, and then you give them the opportunity to do it. But see, the problem is
they got to be kicked out to do that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to go through the punishment first. You can't just be like, I did something bad. Woe is me, because see, people are so quick to give the slap on the wrist, and then no. Sometimes you got to go through the punishment. And that goes for everybody. You gotta go through and know that, hey, I did something wrong. This is the punishment for me doing something wrong. That means I gotta sit out for a little bit. That doesn't mean that you can't get your life together. And you're gonna get your life together. But you gotta sit through that punishment for a little bit. You gotta take that 2 pops to the butt.
Because with the 4th of July coming up this weekend, right? Happy early 4th of July, everyone.
Facts.
But with the 4th of July coming up this weekend, do you know what the 4th of July is about? It's about America's independence, right? Now, why is it such a prominent holiday for us? Because it's a holiday that practically every American celebrates.
Right.
In every state. It's one of the most celebrated holidays for Americans, right? But here's the thing. It's for Americans. America is for Americans. America is for Americans. That sounds to some people wrong. That's a problem because it's not. That's just basic sense. If you are not an American and you're living in America, not visiting, living, you are not American. You are not entitled to the land. You are not entitled to the resources. You are not entitled to any of that. You are invited to become an American, but you are not invited to invade.
And here's the problem I have with the protesting. So they're protesting against ICE. Did you see? Forget, take away a lot of the antics, but there was one thing that really stood out. Did y'all see the flags that they were had up?
Yeah, they were all Mexican flags.
Not just Mexican.
American flags, too.
No. There was upside down American flags.
I saw that.
Upside down American flags. That means you're trying to be here, and upside down flags means that you're anti-American. But you're walking around on American soil with an upside down American flag. That means that you're anti-American, but you want to be here so bad, right?
Because here's the thing. America is such a unique nation because it's a nation that everybody hates, but nobody wants to leave. Because this is the only place where your hatred can be out in the open and you won't get shot in the head for it.
Right. But see, that's the problem. You shouldn't be able to be out there and be anti-American, but you want to be on American soil. So if you're so anti-American, why are you here? And the kicker, and here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, kids. A lot of the people who was walking around with these upside down American flags were born Americans. Walking around with an upside down American flag, but you're born American and you don't want to be here. So if you don't want to be here so bad, you might as well just go ahead and let ICE take y'all to where y'all want to go for a free ride. Take them. Take them to whatever country they so choose to.
Take them to Guatemala.
Take them to Sing Sing. Take them to wherever they want to go. Y'all really don't like America like that. Why y'all sitting here protesting? Go.
It's one of the, if you don't want the smoke, why do you buy the fire?
Go. If you love your country so much,
Or hate.
or if you hate this country so much, or if you love your home country. If your home country is Ireland, if your home country is Israel or Iran, whatever that looks like, if you love it so much, then why are you here? Go home. Go to where you want to go. That's the part I didn't understand. The part that made me mad was you had people walking around with flags from other countries fighting about being in this one. Don't that sound like an oxymoron to
Well, no,
y'all?
because it's a form of, I mean, the best way to put it is to help people understand, I'll put it in very layman's terms. So everyone knows what adultery is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows what cheating is.
Yeah, we got all that.
Okay. It's basically that, but for nations. It's national infidelity,
Right.
right? It's like a gold digger wife, right? She wants the man for his money, his house, his resources, but she doesn't want him.
Right.
So she's off missing out with another dude, right? It's a lot like that. They want the riches of America, but they don't want the American ideals. They don't want the American policies. They don't want America itself. They just want the wealth of it, and
Right.
they want to give it to another. And worse, they want to pledge allegiance to another.
Right.
Basically, you're forfeiting your right as an American, even if you are born American. That's cause for massive red flags if you're so willing to drop the nation you were born in to pledge it to another, even if it's because of a race thing. Here's the thing. Race shouldn't affect allegiances.
Right.
It really shouldn't. Because Americans are Americans. Why? Because they're born in America.
You made a good point.
You did.
Right.
You made a great point.
I don't identify as Mexican American. I have nothing to do with Mexico. I am American through and through. Right? Because you got a lot of these people say, well, I'm Mexican American. You've never even been to Mexico.
You don't even know what Mexico. No, you don't even know what Mexico look like.
You just made my point. Thank
Yes.
you.
So a lot of people will be like, well, Mexican American. Yes. Through your blood lineage, yes. But half of the people who is pledging, and this is not just for Mexican people per se, this could go for people who are in Ireland or the UAE or whoever may be. And this is the other part of the conversation piece. You want to know the difference between us versus everybody else when it comes to black folk in particular, and why we are not really taking a position on this.
Why?
Because we didn't have a choice.
We didn't have a choice.
Y'all do understand when when the black people came over to America, it was not by choice initially. What do I mean by that? We came over via slavery.
Yeah,
we were here. We didn't have a choice. So all of us who was born here, we had to fight. Everything that they have that opportunity to fight for now, we had to do it first because we didn't have a choice because we wasn't pulled. We were pulled from where we were to be here. Now, in the grand scheme of things, maybe that was the best for us, but we didn't choose this.
But
And I want you to understand, we didn't choose this and be like, well, we're going to choose this and then go back to Africa. No, we were brought over. So all we know is this. And when we go through situations, we're not sitting up here and saying that we're anti-America. No. America was built on us too. So when people are disrespecting that, they're partially disrespecting the black culture as well because we were just as here, just as long as anybody who came from Europe who invaded this land too, outside of the Indians who was here first.
Here's the thing. Right? America was not built by any one people. It was built together over a very long period of time.
Correct.
Right. Even now, it's still being built, even if it's a bit of a side grade, if anything. But it's still being worked on. America has been worked on by a group of people, not a people. Right. And that includes all ethnicities involved.
That's correct.
Right. Now, like you were saying, some were brought over to be forced labor, slavery, right? But over time, they gained their freedom through a civil war, and they became American citizens. And then through that, they worked side by side with fellow Americans to build it. Of course, there was racial tension through it all, right? And that's not even to include the Chinese immigrants who were brought over,
Correct.
right? Who were also most likely
certain ones. That is correct.
Yes, right. And then along with Mexico losing land to North America through quite a few wars, right? Or I think it was Arizona, for example, California, another one, right? Which were former Mexico territory. They lost. It was war. It was conquered.
Right.
Right. And some people bring that up. Well, this land used to be Mexico. Well, yeah, that's how war works.
Yep.
It used to be, not anymore. Right. It's like centuries ago at this point. Maybe not that long, but it was a long time ago. My point being is that the past and your ancestors don't really justify the behavior we're seeing nowadays. Right? It does not justify the hatred. It doesn't justify the violence. It doesn't justify the pillaging. It doesn't justify it doesn't justify the hatred. Right? That's not how that works. It's history. History should be studied. History should be known. And above all, history should be learned from. However, history should not dictate violence, retribution, hatred, vengeance, revenge, whatever you want to say, because A, you were not there, B, they are long dead, and C, it's supposed to take you forward, not backward.
I agree with all of that. Remember I went back to something saying about purpose. Why are we doing this now? Because literally, by doing this, what did the U.S. really do? They just basically exposed literally how many people who's over here who really don't like being over here. They talk it. We just talk about this. They talk a good game, but when it really comes down to it, they really don't like being over here. And they just exposed that, and they said, look, now, do I agree with the methodology of just about just running willy-nilly without checking them? No. Because what they're doing is just, you're just blindly grabbing anybody and hoping that it sticks. But
here's a question I got.
But here's what they also know. Vic said it. This is why I'm going to cover all your bullet points. If you are innocent and if you are an American citizen, why are you ducking and running? Because here's the recourse. If they were if ICE was to run up in this house right now and pull all three of us, pull us. Here is my ID. Here is my social. We're gonna take you down anyway. Cool. Don't worry about it. I got a lawyer on deck.
Now, here's the question.
I'm just being dead honest because there's no reason to run induct something if you know that you are in the right?
Here's a question I got
Legally.
for the ISIS. Is there any brother ISIS
Is there any
or any white ISIS?
is there any white ISIS agents, or is there ICE picking up black people and white people and all that stuff?
Yeah.
That's two different questions.
Yeah.
Which one?
So is it only just Hispanic ISIS?
Or is it, well, let me rephrase it. Is ICE targeting just Hispanic people? No.
But no, that's not the. So basically,
I'm just making sure that I'm trying to get the question right.
For the ISIS, is it only? Do you see any black ICE agents?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
There's even a few Chinese ones.
Yes, there is ICE. The agents is people who are in a.
Because you
There
haven't
is
seen any of them.
No, you just. A lot of them are masked up. A lot of them are in plain clothes, and a lot of them don't just do snatch and grab.
Yeah.
You want to know why they're able to pick out to go where you're going to go? There's a lot of agents who are just literally doing recon. You don't know if they're ICE or not. They're just doing recon. Why do you think they know to go to the Santa Fe Springs thing? Because there's ICE people sitting there amongst them saying, that one. They know.
As hell, I was not too long ago. I was with
But-
a couple of my family. We had went to the Home Depot in Compton.
Yes.
But I didn't know across the street they have a military base right there, like setting up right there.
Yeah, there is
And
military
I'm-
bases
'cause I'm
all over
looking
the
like-
place.
I'm looking like, and they out there with the straps. I'm looking, that's
Yes.
like, what did they put? I didn't know they put that right there.
Yes.
But now, May 6th, since all this stuff happened.
They are
But-
not playing.
Here's the thing. And once again, what's gonna happen after this?
This is cleanup work.
This
Get
because
people out of here who don't supposed to be here. Kids, you wanna know why? Because if it comes down to it, and if we really gotta go battle somebody, and you got all these people who is in your country who hate you, you know how easy it is to do some stupid stuff? Meaning that, y'all remember about 6-7 years ago when there was a couple that ran into a county building and just shot up the whole county building?
Yeah,
And then they said they did it in the name of ISIS.
yeah, I remember that.
Y'all remember that, right? And that wasn't,
2017.
yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And what I mean by that is that
remember that.
you're going to see a lot of that stuff popping up. You want to know why that stuff pops up? It's because you got people who are living amongst the ranks who shouldn't be here, who are here illegally, who their whole intent is to do stuff like that. All they need is just their government official to say, it's time to move. Or their gang, it's time to move. Or their cartel to say, it's time to move.
Okay,
So I'm just using that as an example. Or Yakuza, or whatever you want to say, it's time to move. You just heard an elected official from Cudahy say literally, yo, why aren't the gangs rallying up to play defense against ICE? Literally, she's somebody who we elected, literally telling them, well, we need the gangs to intervene and defend us against ICE. Really? You're supposed to be about America, not about the gangs. So you're going to rally the gangs, so you know that you're going to get them.
And it's gonna get them killed.
No, it's not. It's more importantly than that. You're
gonna escalate even
These
more.
are the tactics that even the people whom we elected, so even people who have the legal documentation, basically are showing their face and telling you, well, we don't really like it either. This is why you have to do this. Because if there's people who is here legally telling you stuff about this, you can only imagine the people who are illegal doing this. And that has nothing to do with one singular race. That goes for a lot of the Haitians who are here illegally, the Jamaicans who's here illegally, the people from Africa who's here illegally. I was just in the store and we were talking about this with some of the African brothers who had just pulled up because they were from Nigeria. He said, look, I have to walk around with my documentation with me at all times in case I get snatched up. Why did I tell him that was a good thing? Because if you're doing things the right way, he's not ducking. He ain't afraid. He ain't ducking. He's still doing his job. He knows he's here on a work visa or whatever that may look like. I have my documentation on me. That's the difference. So even if you're in the process of, or you have a work visa, you're still going about it the right way. You're not just, he gets to come from Nigeria, sneak in, and just say, I'm just going to work here and sneak in and whatever happens after. No. You're doing it the right way. Now, if you did it the right way, this is a non-conversation piece. We're not even having this discussion. But because so many people are so willing to do things the wrong way, the illegal way, because it just benefits them, that's where the problem lies. And you have to correct it. And so you have to get these people out of here. Because let something happen. Let there be a 4th of July, something happen, and it really gets busy. Let there be a concert, and there's a mass shooting or a mass bombing. Let there be another 9/11 situation.
That we cannot do. I mean,
so
right
because
now,
this is what you're setting up for.
We're still fighting with this 9/11.
How do you think 9/11 happened? 9/11 happened literally because you had people who wasn't supposed to be here get a little bit of legal documentation to do that. And handcuff a lot of America because of it. Now, did we make correction? Absolutely. It's the reason why we got TSA and a lot of the security that we have in place now. Because like I said, all it takes is one mistake to make correction. And this is the reason why you do it. My only problem is that I just don't like the people who are born American citizens fighting against this. Because if y'all really don't like it that bad, I want y'all born American citizens, the ones who was hanging your upside down flag, the one who was tagging on the walls, the ones who was looting the shoe store, the one who was trying to bust in through Target, the one who was trying to like tag up and blow up cars and throw like Molotov cocktails. I want y'all to go. I want y'all to go.
That's a riot.
I want y'all to go to another country and try that. Because in any other country,
you get shot up, or
they will kill you and ask you about it later.
Especially your friends.
You only get away with that here because we allow it to be, and once we correct that part of it, that ain't going to be an issue either. Now, I don't like the politics behind this. I think that there is room for everybody to kind of move and grow as a country with all different races and ethnicities and all that stuff. Because I'm going to tell you right now, because what makes America, America, because this is the one spot where you could experience, and get to know just about any culture you so choose to. And
But
that's
that
the
go
one.
that go always. Too.
No. But you don't get that in other countries like that.
Should.
You don't. No, you can't go to Germany and get that. You may get a couple, but it ain't integrated like that. And it's not like America. That's why people love America, because it's the only spot where you can see, we're in a city right now where we could literally pull up in any spot. We could go to a store, we could go to a mall, we could go to the beach, and I guarantee you will run across 5 to 6 walks of life immediately. Meaning that you will see somebody from Mexico, somebody from Brazil, somebody who was born out here, somebody who was probably either Taiwanese, Japanese, Korean. You could literally see that literally in crossing.
They're probably looking at the gas station.
I'm just being honest with you. This is what makes America, America. This is how we built it. You're absolutely right to address that point. We built it on the strength of everybody. So I agree with the part that every race and culture has a part of how the America was built. But you just got to do things the right way. This all goes down to legality. Excuse me.
Well, I mean, basically we just always got to do is wait and see what happens next.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is only so much we could say on such a heavy topic. But ultimately, we do want to hear what you think down below. We're not ending it just yet, but this topic of discussion, there's not much more we could say. Ultimately, you understand how we feel about this and where we stand, and I highly doubt that any of us would be shifting views. We are all American citizens here. We were all born in America, and we all plan to stay Americans until the day the Lord decides we have no more days to live. America is the greatest nation on this planet. I say that as an absolute because America is the only nation where you could live there and hate it with every fiber of your being and not be kicked out.
True. Now, speaking of legal and illegal, let's address this really fast. I know people are going to ask us, so we're going to do this real quick since we just got the results from it. What do y'all feel about this pup situation? Speaking of legal and illegal.
We should deport him.
Well, so to catch everybody up, it just came down that Pup was acquitted of 3 charges and charged guilty for 2 charges.
Here's the thing, and I was laughing about this like free Diddy, but
is it really just like OJ?
Kind of.
That was it. Wow.
Kind of.
Damn. I didn't
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Kind of. We'll go there.
Wow.
Kind of. It is like
Does he
OJ.
have a white Bronco?
You just threw me off of something.
Similar. He had a white plane, but it's similar.
When you, I'm not talking about that.
I'm just saying. Hey.
Here's the thing. When you got money, you can do anything. Now, people keep trying to say, and I even thought this was true, that they bribe some of the jurors. We don't know. Hell, I was shocked when they said they couldn't even reach a verdict in time on this because they already knew half of that stuff was going to get appointed for anyway. Now, give or take, do they still let him walk? Even though he still got charged.
He's guilty.
He's guilty.
Let's start there.
He's guilty. Yeah,
He
he's
still
guilty.
got 2 charges on him.
But it's not gonna. But it ain't. You know that just.
He's getting sent. He's
gonna get sentenced. But how many?
And they didn't let him get bail, so they didn't even let him bail out.
So what happens if they do let him out?
He can't bail out. They said he's not bailing out. He is getting sentenced on Wednesday.
Oh, they already.
He's getting sentenced on Wednesday.
So, but how many years? If it's just 2 charges.
So let's clarify. So the 2 charges that the charges that he didn't get. He didn't get the RICO charge because basically a RICO charge means that he used his enterprise to facilitate all this to happen, which was like the drugs and all that stuff. Now, I think there was a RICO. I just think they went after it wrong. That's one. Now, the other 2 charges he got acquitted for was the sex trafficking when it comes to Diddy, and the sex trafficking when it comes to the Jane Doe, which we already know that is 50 Cent's baby's mom. We already know that. But the charges that he did get acquitted, that he did get charged for, was moving people across state lines for the purpose of sex. We're going to address that in a minute. That's a different topic. We're going to address that. But let's take the stuff that he didn't get acquitted, that he got passed on. Is Diddy a bad guy?
Yes.
His own legal team said he's a drug addict, he's a sex dude, he is a bad dude. His own legal team said that he was a bad dude. But all they said was, basically what they said was, y'all got us for the wrong thing. It wasn't a RICO, and we didn't prostitute the girls. And the reason why that you couldn't really get him for the prostitution portion of things was because Cassie, as well as the other girl, literally said, no, wasn't the money. They literally said it. We were down to do this. They said it. So just because the girl may have changed motion, and here's the thing. When a person says no, and they still go down that course of doing it anyway, he still could have been charged for that, and that would have been enough to connect the RICO. But when you look at it from a real person's point of view, you agreed to this, and you didn't go through and put in a case yourself. So that means that you were even complicit, a willing participant.
Thank you for clarifying that.
A willing participant in this process, both of them. The one girl, Jane Doe, 50 Cent's baby mom, is still getting paid from Diddy to this day for her room and board, $10,000 a month. So you're getting money from him, so it can't be that bad, right? So the reason why he got off is because you charged him for the wrong things. Now, if you'd have charged him for the beating, he would have been sitting in jail right now. If you'd have charged him...
Which I kind of thought...
That's not the charge.
I thought they were going to charge him that.
You could have tied all of it together
yeah.
and made it the charge, and if you really thought about it logically, it is a RICO because he did move his pieces to make all this happen. To do these freak offs and all this stuff, he got his assistant to do it. But here's the problem. That's like me saying, well, I'm going to call the missus to facilitate this, and this. Just because I have my missus do it, that doesn't mean that it's wrong if it's in the confines of my bedroom.
But see, here's the thing I didn't like about her, what his assistant said, the short girl, when she said that he hung her over the balcony. Okay, if he hung you over the balcony,
so he
why are you still?
So you're saying he vanilla iced you?
Yeah. So why are you still?
Shout out to Sugar.
I just figured
He vanilla iced her. Okay, it's cool. So people who don't understand what she was trying to claim was he had him dangled upside down off the balcony and said if you didn't sign, then we gonna drop you. Really? Now I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be funny and not. I mean, it's funny because you hear it from a grand scheme thing, but I'm gonna tell you what's not funny. That's the type of stuff that actually happens.
Yeah.
Y'all act like that people who got money don't make moves as if they are gangsters. Diddy was moving literally like he was pushing the hood. He was moving the hood stuff.
But see, even with that, okay, if you claim that your own boss, what you collect the check from, hangs you over the balcony, why are you still affiliated with it? That's the problem I still got.
Why didn't you make the claim then?
That's the problem.
My whole problem with all this stuff is people want to say that, well, I was so afraid that he will retaliate. Well, you're here now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is going to happen when he gets out? So one of the things that was talked about is that the reason why he can't go, the reason why he didn't get bail, because he knows that he's still even the judge knows he's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
The judge knows that a lot of people knows that this man Diddy is a threat to retaliate, to do all this stuff to the people who went against him. That's why he didn't get no bail. Because if he was really like completely innocent, so to speak, like in the way that people think he's innocent, because he's not innocent. Let's start there. He's not innocent. But people think he's innocent because he got off on a couple of charges. He still wasn't allowed bail. He offered up $1 million right then and there. I'll drop $1 million right now if you let me go. And I'll report to court when you tell me to report to court. Why didn't he get bail? Because he's still a menace. And he's still going to retaliate. He's still a bad guy. You know, what's the song from the Make This Money, Take This Money, Ain't No thing you can make this from it? He said it. He said it in the lyrics. Now Vic, pull up the lyrics to what's the Make This Money? I think it's called Let's Get It. I think it's with Diddy and G Dep. G Dep and Diddy. It was I forgot the name of the song off the top of my head, but it says it's everything that he went through. It literally says it in those lyrics. I just want you to pull it up real quick.
But then what made me thought he was gonna walk that day because his kids were there.
No, the kids had nothing to do with this. Everybody.
Money.
No. It's G Dep. Dang, make this money, take this money. Ain't no way you could take this from me.
Red Cafe?
No.
Now you
Hold on,
know.
let me hold on. No, I'm gonna let me get Diddy G Dep. Oh, let's get it. That's
Let's get it.
it.
Yeah.
Let's get
I'm
it.
gonna say let's get it.
Let's get it. That's the name of the song. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna read the lyrics for you. I got it, Vic. I'm gonna read the lyrics for you. Yo, call me Diddy. I run this city. Send the cops, the feds, and the DA. Come get me. Cats wanna leave me for dead. You're coming with me. Get head in the Bentley. Red like 150. Straight lose it. Two things I love: my money, my music. I might co-write and produce it. Drop mine, Hot 9 exclusive. Y'all got me hoking like Bruce did. Deuces, break backs, the stacks and no problems. Make raps and tracks and go Harlem. Get worldwide cousins. Got so many spots. I don't even buy the luggage. You gotta love it. Make moves major. Hide out in Asia. If your girls keep coming around, I'm gonna blaze her. I'm a bad boy flavor with light blue gators, not guilty. Plus, I'm filthy. He literally wrote this in rap.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too.
He literally just lived what he just wrote on that song.
Well, it's one of those things too where you got a lot of people say, well, you know, we didn't know, there was no signs of this and whatnot. Oh, wait, hold on. Right. But it's not just him. I remember it wasn't that while ago, but remember when people were starting to realize how insane Kanye West was?
Yep.
Right? But they were starting to realize how insane he was, and like, well, we never thought he'd do this the same, we never saw the sign. But like in 2013, he came out with a song literally called Black Skinhead.
Yep.
And then people were surprised that this is how he really was.
Right.
The whole thing about it is, that these people never hid who they were. They never did. If anything, they boasted it. They took pride in it. They loved it. They loved themselves.
Right.
And they were full of pride to show themselves to the world of what they were, of their vileness, of their evil, of their darkness, of their sin. They didn't care. To them, that was right. They were the type of men who did what was right in their own eyes.
So let me add this. See the thing about it is, it's not just him. The Cassie types. Y'all willingly put yourselves in that situation for years. This is not like well, I was there for a couple of weeks and I was in and I'm out. No. Y'all was in there for years. And you had to sit there on court and explain some of the nasty stuff that you had to do. Really? Now you with another dude who's your husband it'll be tough for me to really have that conversation now, knowing what really happened in real time. And it was to the point where she was doing this stuff with Diddy and had her future husband on the phone at the same time talking. Really? But Cassie's a dime. She is. She's beautiful. I'm not saying that she ain't. But just because she looks away, that doesn't really mean that they really like that. Y'all gotta be real super selective about who you associate with. I told y'all, the reason why I'm not in the regular music field now is because I knew of this in 95. This has been going on then. So what makes you think that it's going to be better now when these people, all they got was more fame, more notoriety, more resources, and they're moving a lot of their stuff legally. And because he got acquitted on a lot of this stuff, here's the thing about Diddy. Yeah, he got popped literally for moving people for the purpose of sex across state lines. We're going to talk about that in like 2 minutes. You can't even go after this dude again for these charges. So the charges for like the dragging Cassie across the thing and all that stuff, you can't even go after that. The blowing up Kid Cudi's car and all that stuff, you can't even go after that. He did. No, he did it.
He did it.
He did it. And he said, I'm gonna tell you straight up. He said, yeah, I did it, and I cried 2 tears in the bucket. Literally, that's what he's telling you.
And I think that was cat. I want him blowing up. That's a whole different story.
No, I think he did it. I know, and I'm gonna tell you right now. He know he did it. And he by no means said that he was a good guy in this. He said, I was a bad guy. I'm this dude. I was on drugs. And basically what you just gave him the pass to do is to continue his bad ways.
Well, here's the thing, too. People seem to think that confession equals repentance. It doesn't.
He didn't confess.
Well, not confess, but no.
He just said.
No, not confess, or not just confession, but admittance. Right? You said he admitted himself he's a bad guy.
Yes.
Right? That doesn't mean he changes. Admitting something is not the same as addressing it nor changing it.
Right.
It's just admitting it. You know? It's one of those things where, you hear about all these things, right, where people will talk about, well, this is who I was or this is what I did, right, but all it is just admitting or confirming or confessing or
right.
whatever you want to call it, but there's no actually turning away from evil. It's just saying what they've done. It's a receipt.
Right.
Facts.
It's not
a fact.
It's a receipt. It's not, it's not an apology or it's not guilt or it's not remorse. It's none of that. Saying something but not doing anything about it does nothing but bring more condemnation upon your own soul.
Right. He ain't even apologetic. He just happy he's happy he's getting less time. Now, people was like, well, he's innocent. No, he's not innocent. He's guilty. He's going to do some time. You asked the question before, and I will address it. The max that he could get is 10 years per charge. So it's 20 years on the table, but they work concurrently, so the max that he could potentially get is 10 years. Excuse me. Here's my God's honest answer. The judge can't clip him, even though he knows he's a bad guy, and he's going to be the one to lay down the sentence. He's not going to give him 10. Because there's no way to justify giving him a whole 10. I think he gets 5. I think 5.
And out of 2.
No. He gets 5. He does, you'll get 5 with half. Because he'll probably get the good behavior, quote unquote. So that means he'll get 2.5. 2.5, he already did time served, which will be about a year and some change. So he'll probably, if he does any time at all, he does a year. He does 1 year in the joint. If it even gets that far. Now,
that's a New Jack City move.
No, that's not a New Jack City move. A New Jack, kind of a New Jack City move. Because when New Jack City, when Nino Brown got it, he got what? 5? No,
they gave him 5.
They gave him 5. No, that's right. He got a year.
He got a year.
And it was like, man, we did all this just to get a year. Basically, that's what the Fed said. We did all this just to get a year.
Don't hate it. It's cool.
And that's basically what. And that's basically why I said he was going to go Nino Brown.
Yeah.
Because this is it. This is the Nino Brown thing.
Yeah. All right. That's why.
And so the one thing I want to address before we head on, because we're gonna get out of here in a quick second. The one thing that he did get charged for was taking people across lines, like across state lines, with the purpose and intent of sex. I know that seems like it's a crazy thing to kind of swallow, because like what does that really mean? So I'll put it to you in short. So let's say that y'all on the market, y'all dating, y'all doing y'all thing, right? But y'all talking to somebody who so happens to be in Nevada, right? You live in California. That girl, that shorty that you like, you in Nevada, y'all was hanging out, but you live out here, she stays out there. But you be like, well, I really want to get with you, and I think you sexy and all this stuff, and I want to bring you through in order to do this. And she says, well, I'm down, I'm going to come over here just so we can get busy and whatever. You know that's a crime now? Because if you're doing it with just the sole purpose of having sex, bringing somebody across the state lines is a crime now.
For sex.
For sex. Meaning that, here's how quickly this could be a crime. Let's say that you do that, and let's say that, well, I didn't, she could be like, well, I didn't really want to have sex and whatnot, and then you go on camera and doing all that hoot and holler. Remember how that dude was doing all that hoot and holler about, I couldn't get no skins, and I flew you all the way out here, yada, yada, yada. Guess what? Now,
It's a federal crime.
it's a crime.
Wait, is it federal?
Federal crime. Because you now have precedent to say that it's a crime. You know there's a pimp who just went to jail over this, right? He was a pimp who literally went to jail literally over the same thing. And it wasn't because he was pimping, it was because one of the girls he was messing with, like in real life, for real, decided to flip on him and make it a crime. And he's doing, I think he's doing like 6 to 10 now. 16, yes, he's doing 16. Because they start giving them X because of all the women he was connected to. They basically pinned everything on him. That's the difference. This is where somebody's bad. No. This is where a bad gives you impact. But now it tells you that you got to be really mindful with how you deal with people, who you're dealing with, going across state lines, especially if you're trying to find somebody from the other state. Y'all better figure it out. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all move the wrong way in this day and age, it does not favor the guy. Let's say it's a girl who calls you, and you decide to flip on her. Guess what? That's a federal crime on her. You see how it slows up y'all little dating a little bit now? Y'all gonna really start thinking about, well, I'm gonna fly these girls out. I bet you won't. I bet you wait till you touch down in a city. Nah, yeah, you better figure it out. Y'all better stop getting freaky deaky. But I just want to address that because I think that's super important. I think in people's dating life, people don't understand that that's a crime now. A real crime. A real crime that could get you up to 10 years, apparently.
Well, since we bring this conversation to an end, another PVC podcast episode that we do hope you found some value in.
Ooh, I want to go first. I'm sorry.
We're talking about crime.
Yeah, and Diddy got to buy one, get one free.
Yes.
He bought a lesser charge.
When you can have 20.
He bought a lesser charge and got it.
But before we end here, I should say that the human justice system, not the American justice system, the human justice system, as our entire race and species,
That's trash.
is incredibly, horrifically
Trash.
flawed. It is completely biased. It has no sense of justice. It is not blind, as it would like to say it is. It is corrupt beyond measure, and it is riddled with sin and pride. But I will say this, that many people, and I do mean many people, elude human justice. They get away with things that they thought they wouldn't. They get away with crime. They get away with evil. They get away with darkness. They get away from the human courts. But no one, and I mean no one, from the beginning all the way to the end will escape God's court. No one is escaping the court to come. And the sad tragedy is that many people will find themselves before the judge, that is the Lord, and they will have no defense. They will have no mercy. They will not be found innocent, and they will be judged harshly, and their punishment will be eternal hell. No one is escaping the judgment to come. Not me, not Cameron, not Paul, not you. The difference is, though, is that if you have Christ, while you still will be judged, you will not be judged for your sins. For it is your sins, people, that separate you from a righteous and thrice holy God. I do not say this flippantly, nor do I say this lightly. I say this truly to you. You are going to die. We're all going to die. We have a death date set. I need you to know that, and I need you to understand it. The thing is, though, is that before you die, you need to make right with God. How do you do that, you may wonder? How do I get right with God? How do I find forgiveness for my sins? breaking God's laws. And you have broken.
Facts.
Don't think you haven't. For in the Bible itself that says that there is no man righteous on this earth. There is none righteous, no, not one. You are all guilty, as am I. There's only one way to be forgiven your guilt, and I will tell you here in plainly. And that is to put your faith in the God-man. His name is Jesus Christ. Or the Messiah, or simply the Christ. He is the King of kings and the Lord of lords.
Okay.
He is merciful and he is loving. And he is more than ready and willing to rescue you from your eternal damnation. For all you must do is cry out to him in repentance and faith. Believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, and confess him as your Lord, and he will fulfill his promises to deliver you from a just and righteous hell. I desire that you do not perish. God doesn't want you to perish, but if you don't want to repent, then all that's left for you is to perish. I would encourage any of you listening to read your Bibles, so at least download the Bible app and read the book of John. The book of John, not John 1, for there are letters of John, but the book of John. For it is the most straightforward version of the gospel, and I would say it is probably the easiest for someone to comprehend. I bring this all up because while Diddy may escape the human courts, he may escape human judgment, he may think he's free. The tragedy of it all is that his soul is headed towards an eternal fire. Whether he knows it or not, whether he believes it or not, that is where he is headed. Him and tragically many, many others, because they refuse to settle without court with Christ. That is my warning at the end of this podcast. You are going to die, and you are going to stand before holy God. And if you do not have Christ with you, you will be damned, and you will be thrown into eternal destruction. Eternity is a long time, and there is no end. That is all I have to say. Cameron.
Let that man go first.
Well said, brother. This has been an interesting podcast we did. I will say this, and it's something Cam did say, and I want to address it too before we get out of here. Actions do have consequences, and a lot of us, and I can testify on this, we all make mistakes. It's how we repent and we get past it, and you admit to your mistakes. And like Victor said, you gotta always go to God and repent your mistakes to Him, because He's the only one who can fix your mistakes. And as this world progresses and stuff, and all this stuff is changing in this world, we all go through stuff. It's not just one hectic race. It's all of us. So I will say this: always find a way to go to somebody when you make mistakes, or you just need somebody to talk to, because there are people out there who can't help you and stuff like that. As far as the Diddy stuff, but it just happens. Sad to say, it's worse people out there than Diddy. But as we progress as human beings, we always gotta flaunt our mistakes and work on it to try to be human beings. We gotta show example for the younger generations as him, because the younger generations, they all look up to us. Hell, I be around, I have kids who look up to me every day, and I always want to leave a good example of what I do for myself as a man as well too. And God's still working on me. He ain't done with me. And I know Vic and Cam can say the same thing as well too. So with that being said, you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and have a wonderful 4th of July weekend.
Oh, it's on me. All right, bet. Few things. One, it's been a minute since we talked. We didn't even get a chance to say, this man then got his brown belt. We didn't even talk about that yet. Wait a minute. I just did it dawned on me. I was sitting here. This man that got his brown belt. He got a whole bunch of stuff working. Shout out to that man right there for getting his brown belt first and foremost.
Yeah, you got it at Kohl's.
Yeah, exactly. He got the cold brown belt and he gets popped with it a few times. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
No,
It took me a long 11 years to get there, man. You know, it feels good. You know, hard work and.
Oh, we're gonna celebrate when we get back.
And
See, first of all, he funny with that. We gonna celebrate when he get black. One phrase, two meanings. We gonna celebrate. Oh boy, I'm clipping that boy.
But thank you.
But he's still got a lot of stuff that he's working on, man. But I'm definitely proud of him. He's definitely making some moves in that regard. We didn't get a chance to address it as a podcast crew, but I definitely want to make sure we get that up and out the way. Outside of that, purpose. Do everything with purpose. For a purpose. If you keep that, you'll be just fine in life. Don't let the Diddy stuff fool you. Just like Vic said, he's got an answer to God down the line. So if you think he's free, he really ain't free.
I have a friend.
Yeah, he ain't free. All the stuff catches up with everybody. There's no person who walks this earth, not one, not myself, not Vic, not Paul. Nobody walks this earth perfect. All we strive to do is to do the best we can in the eyes of God. That's literally what we strive to do every day. We don't claim to have all the answers. We just try to get you the best info that we can. Give you some stuff to laugh about, give you some stuff to think about. That's what we do as a PVC Podcast Crew, and that's what we will continue to do as a PVC Podcast Crew. Like I said from the top of the show, I apologize if we didn't get some content up throughout this past month. We had some things that we had to address and deal with, but we're back into the mix. We'll be back into the mix in about a week and a half. We got some other content that we want to address. We just want to get all these topics up and out of the way. Besides that, shout out to all of our affiliates. Shout out to each and every one of our 122 subscribers, of course. And if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, no matter what it is, y'all can either come and see us directly, y'all can leave a comment below. You know we always address anything and everything, no matter what it is.
But before we go, since you gave me my appreciation, because we don't know when we might not be, you know, it might be another week or two before we get back on the table.
No, we record next week. No. We ain't record next week.
Okay.
No, don't worry about that. We record next week.
You know, birthday coming up. Hey,
we gonna be recording next week.
I just want to make sure, you know,
Old man bars. Something y'all got to deal with. We'll address that next week.
Okay, you're only like 33.
Wow, dang, I wish I was 33.
I'm not going there.
Dang, I wish I was 33. Boy, 33, I was in my young man swag still. I mean, I still on my semi-young man swag. I ain't there yet, man. You know, kid gonna be 50. I mean, like, you know, like 9 shot, you know, 50.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you still walking the talk.
Yeah, I know. No. I mean, don't get it wrong. Like I said, we'll address that next week.
All right.
Amen. Wish happy birthday.
Nah. See, I'm gonna leave you alone, boy. I'm gonna leave you alone. But besides all that, man, shout out to everybody who's been rocking with us, man. It's definitely a privilege and an honor to do this, of course. We got a lot of stuff in the tuck working, so keep riding along with us.
Oh, can I make one personal?
Man, go ahead. I'm trying to go home.
I know, but I just want to say this. I just want to say I love for my loved one, my cousin. You know, I don't want to put too much out there, but you know, recently, you know, he got shot not too long ago, but he's still here. He survived. He's just going through the process of recovery. So I want to say, I'm glad you're still here, cousin. I love you so much, man.
Hey, prayers up for real.
Walk the tall, soldier.
Prayers up, man. I did hear about that. Prayers up on behalf of the podcast crew, of course. Speedy recovery. You know, we're definitely praying for your recovery, of course, man. So, but besides that, y'all, like I said, it's been an honor to do this. It's been a very good episode. We got more along the way, so just keep riding with us. For my man Paul, for my man Vic, my name is Cam, aka Nerd Boy Fresh. Like always, it is God above everything. Till the next time, family, we will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.
Here's some crap.
Old man bars. Something y'all got to deal with.